Ladies and gentlemen, yes, this is your favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Boom, baby. Welcome to Sports Unfolded, NFL Ranking Show, Week 4. I am your host, Eric. Main man right over there. Ron, how are you?
I feel like we just did this.
I think we spent a little bit of time last night together.
I'm telling you, that NHL show was awesome. If you haven't seen the NHL preview, got to check it out. And of course, if you still haven't seen that NFL preview show, you need to check that out as well.
Check it out. Don't watch our MLB preview show. Our picks might be a little bit of question. So, as we normally do each week, we release our NFL rankings, top 5 teams in the league. Currently, this week, we went with Miami at 5, the Green Bay Packers at 4, the Kansas City Chiefs at 3, Buffalo Bills at 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles remain number 1 this week. Just realized I spelled Miami wrong. Great job. Did I spell Miami wrong? No.
No. I'm like, what's wrong with it?
I did not. So we're going to break down all 5 teams, how we got to those rankings, and then obviously have a quick discussion on our 3 top players from week 4.
But we told you out there last week, Philadelphia was better than Miami.
We did call that. Regardless of everyone who disagreed, we have the proofs in the pudding now because they're the only undefeated team remaining in the NFL.
All right, let's have at it.
All right, so at number 5, we went to Miami Dolphins, who are clinging to stay on this list. 10th in offense, 28th in defense, 9 in points for, 16 points against. Dallas making a strong push because defensively, very strong. They're 7th defensively, 3rd points allowed. Offensively is where they struggle, and that kind of held them back. The Giants in Minnesota are kind of middle of the ground in most of the categories and just couldn't put them ahead of the Miami Dolphins, who had wins against New England, Baltimore, and Buffalo so far this season, and obviously the loss this week to Cincinnati. Fair spot, Miami's remaining in the 5th spot, or do you think some teams should have been ahead of them?
No. This is completely accurate on what it looks like right now. This is completely accurate. And like I said, if anybody has a question about it, well, we're here to answer that, and you're probably wrong. I'm just making fans a lot.
Yeah, you are definitely on a lot of people's Christmas list, for sure. So, again, the question will be this week, no Tua. I already ruled him out. Teddy Bridgewater did not look good. I don't think he stays on this list, depending on what Dallas does. The Giants maybe not. In Minnesota, questionable to possibly make this list. But Dallas could be on this list next week. That would be my expectation if they win and Miami loses.
Yeah.
So, number 4, going to Green Bay Packers. They are 6th offensively, 5th defensively, 22 points for, 7th points against. Wins against Chicago, Tampa Bay, and New England. Their one loss was Minnesota week 1. You think about across the board, they're very stout when it comes to their rankings, except for points for. They're just not putting the ball in the end zone, but they are controlling offensively the ball and defensively. Just need to figure a way to score. But I thought 4th was a really good spot for them.
Yeah, when you look at this team, like after that first week loss, like, look, everybody was writing them off. And I think we were there the same point last year as well. They got blown out in week 1 last season, and everybody wrote them off. And, it's the same old, same old. The only difference is their offense still hasn't clicked. And that's a little concerning because, it's like you can always say, oh, well, he's going to make them better. Well, I don't know if they have a receiver that's really going to do the job that they expect. But they're going to still be good defensively, and they're going to be able to control the games with the running game,
Yeah.
and that's how they're going to do it this year.
Yeah. Listen, if they are smart, they utilize those two running backs. That's what you need to win in December, January, February, to get to the Super Bowl. Later months running the ball, being effective that way. Something they got away from last season and why they lost in the playoffs. So I really feel like if they can continue to play the solid defense that they've shown they're capable of and they're able to run the ball, Aaron Rodgers just needs to do enough to win games. Hence beating New England in overtime. You give him the ball with 2 minutes left at the end of a game, he's going to find a way to beat you.
Yeah.
So Green Bay always is going to be one of those top teams because of Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Which brings us to our number 3 team, Kansas City Chiefs, who are starting to look much better. 3-1 on the season, 5th offensively, 13th defensively, 2nd in points for. So they've scored the second most amount of points and 20th points against. So we know defensively still some struggles, but wins against Arizona, the Chargers, and Tampa Bay. One bad loss to Indianapolis, but 3 quality teams that they did beat.
Yeah. And when you look at this past week, we had talked about it on the show, and we said that could be a big defensive game. And then here they are, they're slinging it all over the place. Both quarterbacks had 3 touchdowns each, if I'm not mistaken.
At least.
And look, that Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes are gonna do well all the time. They're always gonna have, a winning season, if their team is halfway decent.
Except family thought. Tom Brady may not have.
Yeah, no, I don't know if he's going to fare well with the house. Don't know how that's going to go, but Tampa Bay with Tom Brady is always a threat. They're going to make the playoffs. It's just a matter of where they're going to seed.
Yeah.
And that is the important thing. That's
Yeah.
the important thing.
I think Kansas City had a point to prove that you're going against one of the top-ranked defenses in the league. Patrick Mahomes, there's been some question about that offense. Put up a lot of numbers in that game. Tom Brady actually led the league last week in passing yards.
Yeah.
And yet you think about they starting to get healthy. They had Godwin back, Mike Evans back, Julio Jones back, and yet you still saw the Kansas City Chiefs be able to dominate the Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that defense just couldn't stop Kansas City. So, and they're gonna go back to the workshop and figure out what exactly happened. So they're already analyzing, the videotape and do they even call it videotape anymore? I don't think so. It's video. It's just video. And they're gonna figure out what happened, and then they'll plan for changes, and that defense is very flexible in what they can do. So I think that might be just a hiccup for the Tampa Bay defense. That at least they hope, because if they play solid defense from here on out, you're looking at a very tough team if they're going to score like that. But Kansas City has just proven that they still got a stranglehold on that AFC West.
So you think about the team that's at number 2, and that's the Buffalo Bills. The AFC championship game between Kansas City and Buffalo, it's starting to head that way again. If you look at the AFC and kind of that matchup, and both these teams love to score, love to put points on the board.
Yeah.
Again, it should be another fun matchup. Buffalo's 3-1 right now. 3rd offensively, 2nd defensively, 5th in points for, 2nd in points against. So defensively, just amazing. Offensively, they have taken it to another level. Josh Allen wins against the Rams, obviously opening night, Tennessee and Baltimore, and a loss to Miami, which, again, a little more time, I think they actually win that game and could be 4-0 on this list. I think that Miami loss is key for them because they bounced back against Baltimore.
Yes.
Baltimore kind of gifted them that win with some of the coaching decisions by John Harbaugh. But Buffalo was just going back and forth with Baltimore. They're not going to allow the same hiccup that they had against Miami.
No. And Josh Allen is just proving that he is a force to deal with. I mean, his size, his strength, his arm strength, and his decision making, seems to be like spot on, every game. And it's usually not going to be his fault that they lose a game.
Yeah. And his commercials are really good. So,
Yes, they are.
so I think they've
I
done a
like
great job marketing him as well. I really think that you having a loss early in the year that you should have won is going to motivate them more to just continue to make sure they don't have any more hiccups during the course of the
Absolutely.
season. So they will be tough and a team to be reckoning with. I still have them in the Super Bowl.
That defense is just so good, and when you look at the collision course that it's looking like it's going to be between Kansas City and Buffalo, you just have to give the advantage to Buffalo again because that defense is so good. I can see it stopping Kansas City more than what Kansas City can stop Buffalo.
And you think about all the starters that they've been missing the last 2 weeks and still were able to
Yes.
put up some really solid numbers and defensively stop Baltimore, who's offensively, look, Lamar
Right.
Jackson's one of those guys. It's very hard to stop, and they were able to do it and contain him.
Yes.
But let's talk about the number one team. That's the Philadelphia Eagles. Second offensively, third defensively, fourth in points for, 10th in points against. And the points against, they played Detroit. Detroit, as much as people have questioned, the number one offense in the league. They average more yards per game and more points per game than any other team. Granted, they're 1-3 because they can't seem to find a way to close out these games. But Detroit was probably the only team that really put up some points against Philadelphia.
Yeah.
They beat Minnesota, they've beaten Washington, and they've beaten Jacksonville.
Yeah.
We had Jacksonville last week on this list at number 5. We thought it was a big matchup. Philadelphia controlled that one as well. Minnesota, week 2, we thought that was going to be a big matchup. Completely manhandled them. Again, Detroit, number one offense, went toe-to-toe, scored more than Detroit. Washington's Washington. But 3 solid wins by this team, offensively, defensively in the top 5.
Yeah, but they need to play a top team so that way they can earn the respect.
And I think
because
go ahead, continue.
No, that's what they need to do. Like, I mean, yes, they're 4-0, and that's great. It's you're beating good teams, like that is not the question, but you are not beating the teams. So they need a win over Dallas. They need a win over somebody like Green Bay, Kansas City, Buffalo, Tampa Bay. These are the teams that they need wins over. LA Rams, and that's so they can get that respect. And they're going to be playing like they're underdogs until they get that respect. And that is what's fueling this team. They believe that they're this good. And we have them up there for a reason.
Yes.
They are this good. But the majority of fans out there are saying, how are they even 4-0? That's what they're thinking. But they're 4-0 because Hurts is playing unbelievable. That defense has been, spot on in every game except for that Detroit game. So this team is really trying to prove itself, and every week there's always a doubt the media say, for the most part. But this is what they're doing. This is a team that has a desire to prove themselves, and they have to keep playing like it, and that's what they're doing. So
They play Arizona this week.
yeah,
Dallas has the Rams. Tough matchup. And granted, the Rams defensively, what Dallas is able to do could create some problems. If both those teams win, week 6, Dallas, Philadelphia.
right.
That's the matchup now that everybody's going to have circled, because is Dallas going to just take a stranglehold of this division?
Yeah.
Or is Philadelphia going to finally say, look, it's our division this year?
And this is a week that Philadelphia can go out there and prove to people. They're playing Arizona. Arizona, was one of those teams in the conversation to make the playoffs. And this could derail Arizona, because you have now San Francisco finding their wins with Jimmy G.
Yeah, which we discussed.
Yeah, and look, so we thought it was going to be a 2-horse race, with Arizona and the Rams, but San Francisco is now in the picture because of Jimmy G is now the starter, and we know he can win, so that changes the outlook for that whole conference. And now Arizona finding themselves in a dogfight with a couple of teams again, and now you can't even count out Seattle, because Seattle is scoring like a fiend, and I'm
Scrappy
just
team.
shocked. So,
scrappy team. So that was our list. We could bring that up one more time. Let me just bring that up for you, Ron. And how we had this week's week 4 rankings. And that, again, Miami at 5. We do not expect Miami to be in this list if they lose. Green Bay at 4, Kansas City Chiefs 3rd, Buffalo Bills at 2, and the Philadelphia Eagles remain number 1, the only undefeated team left in the NFL. So, as we normally do on this show, NFL ranking show, we decide our top 3 players from the previous week. So, week's 4 top guys. So, I will start at number 3. I love the fact that this team's 3-1. Brian Dable has come on and proven that he can get a team motivated enough to win. And Saquon Barkley has become a running back now that you have to fear. 31 carries, 146 yards, 2 receptions, 16 yards to help carry the Giants to a victory. I thought Saquon Barkley had a very big game and was one of those players.
Yeah, he was my 4th guy on my list. I gave it ultimately to somebody else. And number 3, that would be Nick Bosa. 2 sacks, 3 tackles, but going up against the Rams, I think that he was huge for them. A couple of those sacks were big, and I think I needed to go somebody defensive, and who better than Nick Bosa? He is just a force to be reckoned with in San Francisco. And between him, and the rest of that defense and Jimmy G, I think that's going to save the San Francisco season, to be honest with you.
Quickly changed. We talked about that.
Absolutely.
Trey Lance situation. San Francisco's a contender again. Number 2, who did you have?
Number 2, I had Josh Jacobs.
Nice
for the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders.
144
yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. He averaged 5.1 yards on 28 carries. That is, give him the ball twice, you get a first down, and that's basically what he did the whole game. That's basically what he did.
And a big win for the Raiders, right? Who needed it?
They desperately
needed it.
They probably just saved Josh McDaniel's job.
Yeah, for this week, yes.
Yes.
I had it number 2, even though in a loss. Cooper Kupp, 14 receptions, 122 yards. If
Yeah.
he wasn't in that game, just think about how
Oh, my
bad the
God.
Rams would have looked. Again, best wide receiver in the league currently.
Yeah, that's
And
without a doubt.
he performs every single week. So I just thought that Cooper Kupp was my guy. At number 1, I will go first, or do you want to go first?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I know you're going to be, pleasantly surprised that I have this guy at number 1. I believe I had him at number 3 last week. Geno Smith.
You love Geno. You and Geno.
I'm telling you, 320 yards. 320 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was 23 of 30 and had a QBR of 132.6. I don't know if he's ever had a better game. That was look, they've already won more games than I thought they would as a team. So, I mean, there's that.
That has to be a factor. I had a combo for number 1.
A TJ combo?
A TJ Hawkinson, Jared Goff combo. Number 1. Jared Goff, 378 yards passing, 4 touchdowns. And who's on the other side of some of those? TJ Hawkinson, 8 receptions, 179, 2 touchdowns.
I know. I wanted to put him in, but they lost. And
you know what? So did Cooper Kupp. It's not about wins or losses. With
no,
the top
they
players.
opened your eyes, and that's what our 3 stars is about. It's
right.
Who caught your eye this week,
and
that's
we owe Kenny an apology. He was in 2021. He had the wrong year. That's all. He called Jared Goff, but he should have been on the 2022 NFL preview show, and he would have nailed it.
Yep.
But some great games last
Maybe
week.
we can edit that into this one.
Right? We could probably try to, yes. But some great games last week. Looking forward to this week. Friday night, 6 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Only on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Check us out live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to break down some of our top games of the week for the NFL. All NFL news that we can possibly cover. And then give predictions for the weekly games, the big weekly games. If you'd like to donate to our show, we can donate stars through Facebook, or if you watch on Twitch, bits as well. We'd love to get the most we can to possibly continue to drive our show and continue to stay global as much as possible. So any help, we appreciate all the fans out there that are watching and are able to donate. Ron, always a pleasure, man.
It is.
Love doing this stuff with you. Sports Unfolded continues to grow. Did our final MLB rankings for 2022. Sad moment there. But we're going to have hockey next week. And then in about 2-3 weeks, we have the NBA. So we'll be going nonstop with NFL, NHL, and MLB ranking. NBA rankings.
This is a busy week for us. We've already been on 3 nights this week.
Insane.
So,
but Sports Unfolded, because that's what we do. We give what the people want. And let's just mention, I know it's a baseball. Aaron Judge, all-time AL home run, number 62 last night. So great for Aaron Judge there.
He is the all-time leader now in home runs in a season.
It may be a face-off debate, so be ready. Be ready. But fans out there, check us out. Follow us on all our social medias at Sports Unfolded, Facebook, Twitter, MeWe. Sports_unfolded on Instagram, Rhode Island Broadcasting at Broadcasting RI on Twitter. So many different ways to listen to us: Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn Podcast. If you'd like to sponsor our show, check us out Fridays. And if you'd like to sponsor that show, email is
here we go.
There we go. ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. And you can follow us on Discord. Sports Unfolded, posting all of the rankings, our shows, anything we do is on our Discord. So check that out as well. Join our Discord chat through Rhode Island Broadcasting. Phenomenal ways to experience all of Sports Unfolded every single day. Ron, I will see you on Friday night, my friend.
Absolutely.
You take care. All we ask for in this world is peace.
Have a great night, everybody.